Two. Hey yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Manny, and I'm coming to you live. Did you know that? From Manny J Media headquarters here in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm with two of my favorite people here, the hosts, shall I say, of the Dirty Gerund at Ralph's Rock Diner here in Worcester every Monday night. And let's on this side we have the fabulous Narc, and on this side we have the amazing Sam. No. There's another Malt.
Malt Schlitzman.
Sorry, because I know you as Sam, so I'm like, oh my God, what's the name? Malt. The
it's
amazing
a pleasure
Malt.
To meet you.
It's great to see you, and thanks for bringing your mustache. I love the mustache.
Well, thank you. I grew it myself.
Yeah, you did a great job growing it, and the bi-colored glasses, like just a whole lot of throwing me off. Can you hear? I don't know how to talk right now, but. You are a great visual representation, as are you really, as I guess am I, of what the Dirty Gerund is. And it's just a bunch of weirdos coming together and having a good time, no?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. So why don't I start on this side with you, because, you know, that's okay. I'm already here.
Yeah, I'm
you
chill.
cool? All right, I'll let you play with that one. I'll lean back a little bit, just in case you want to join in and anything. So tell me a little bit about what is the Dirty Gerund?
So around, at this point, 15 years ago, Rochelle Frazier, now, oh my God, I'm totally blanking on their last name. They just got married several years ago. They started reading at Ralph's Diner, I think just without permission.
Oh.
They stood in the corner and started reading poems, and did that for long enough that it became a social phenomenon. Like a year later, it was taken over by Alex Harlem-Beatties and Nicholas Earl Davis. They ran it for a good 12 years. And then a while after the pandemic was lifted, Narc took it over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, since you took it over, we'll have you take over this conversation now and tell me a little bit why. Why were you compelled to, and why was there even a position open for you to take it over?
So like Malt said, we had the sad year, of which the pandemic kind of shut everything down. Before that, I had been reading at the Gerund for about 5 years. And then it's actually, the other day was the 6-year anniversary of me, the first time I officially hosted, because the previous host, Alex Harlem-Beatties, was solo hosting after a while. Nicholas Davis, unfortunately, left the programming, and then Alex was running it himself. And Alex, while running the Gerund, also worked for and was one of the curators of Mass Leap, which is a nonprofit organization that brings poetry to kids in the Boston area and such.
Great program.
Yeah. Emerson has since absorbed them, but yeah. And that's the other thing is Alex, was doing that. Pandemic happened. He also is the caretaker for 2 elderly parents, with their own health problems. And so he didn't really have the capacity to do it anymore. Kind of the Gerund, once it took that pause, he was like, oh man, where am I at in life? I don't have the space or the capacity. And it was kind of, there was no one really else there who was around. I was there every Monday. I have a piece that I've written where I grew up as a religious person. And so I view my Mondays as Mondays are my holy day.
Okay, word.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna ask. That was one of my questions coming up, because the Gerund is in the evening.
Yeah.
Starting around 8 o'clock is when people start to gather. Usually
8:30 is when we love for people to get in the door at least by, and then because once people are in the door by 8:30, if the house is full, then we can start. But it has always been a late programming.
Bar hours.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking with Victor Infante last week when he was in the house, and he was like, yeah, I really appreciate that you at least start by 9 o'clock. He's like, because I've been sitting in this bar at 10:15 and the show has not started yet, so this is really nice. I was like, yeah, we're trying consistency, but But
that's part of the problem with me, because I love the Dirty Gerund. Believe it or not, I know this might be hard to believe because you never ever see me there.
No, but when you're there, your face lights up. Like I can see you're engaged. I can tell. Like the first time you actually came to a show, like I saw the skepticism, not in like a scary way, but in like this is a space I've never entered. This is not a space I would normally be in. And then you went into it, and then I saw you like become slowly immersed, which is like my favorite thing to happen with new people. Like anytime I see a new person walk in the door who's like, I'm here for poems, and it's like, oh, the poems happen over here, and they're like, oh, okay. And then you slowly see, like, as the performers go, the band's playing, like you see them like really like get involved, and like nothing more is a win than if someone, it's their first night ever at the Gerund, or even like their second night and they want to play like a bonus ruckus, which is like the fun little games that we do, because I'm like, oh my god, you're here, you had the bug, like you're coming back. I know it. Like welcome, you are now immersed with us. Like,
and I will say, when I first went, I did go in feeling like, looking around and just feeling like I don't belong here. Like this is not a place that's for me. No one here looks like me. I don't feel like, I have anything in common with anybody here.
It's very visually distinct.
Yeah.
Like you show up to the bar, it looks like a place where every night there's a fist fight.
Yeah.
And then you get 3 poems in and you realize, oh, they're all nerds.
Yeah.
Okay, these are my people.
Yes.
Yeah. And they actually are my people. And when I said, by the way, when I said a whole bunch of weirdos, I meant that with the most affection and love in the world.
Yeah, no,
like, I'm a weirdo stan.
I mean,
I look like this on purpose.
Yeah, my hair is bright yellow. Like it's fine. No, but I think that's something that really encapsulated me about the Ralph's community in general, and I'm so appreciative that they've continued to like hold space for us and let us continue this programming. Like they do give us like a financial contribution every week to keep us going.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They give us a little slice on the side, and like alongside letting us do our bucket collections to pay our artists, like, and because they know it's what keeps them in business on Mondays. But like also the crowd, like something that I am always so thankful for is the staff there always just thanks me, where they're like, yo, Monday nights, I don't ever mind working a Monday night, covering a Monday night, being there on a Monday night, because your crowd is always really respectful. Everyone follows the rules. Like no one's there like to fuck around.
Can we talk about the rules real quick?
And
because one of my favorite parts about the Gerund is the rules ceremony. I don't know if you call it a ceremony, but it's a ceremony. Can you just do the spiel, please? Or do I gotta? I can tip. John, do we have some money? I want to put some money in the bucket.
So I mean, we start the show with the high energy, the band's playing. You're so funny. I will not yell money in the bucket right now. I promise.
We'll get some money in the bucket in a second.
There's not enough space for me to skate.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's amazing.
And so we can only guarantee as safe as a space is the one that we're willing to create, and with that is kind of setting those boundaries at the opening of the show and letting people kind of know what kind of space they are walking into. It is the year of our Lord Beyonce 2024, and but like it's a hard world out there, and like we are what I would like to consider a radically soft space where you are welcome to be open and honest and say how you're feeling and analyze the world, but we're not dealing with anything. There's no racism, there's no sexism. I don't want to hear any Zionism, any Islamophobia, anything that would make me personally want to have a conversation with you in the parking lot and leave the bounds of Ralph's is going to stay off this microphone, because we can only guarantee as safe as the space is the one we're willing to create. And that starts with us setting those boundaries and then our community aligning themselves with that moral and kind of sticking with it. And luckily within my time of being at the Gerund, there's only been a few times where there's been an issue or someone said something, and it's usually a rando.
Yeah.
It's usually someone
who doesn't get it, who's not there.
Who just showed up there on a Monday, saw there's an open mic, saw everyone speaking, wanted to feel heard, signed up, and you don't know this person, you don't know their intentions, and like you don't know if they were there for the spiel. Like, and that's the other thing that comes with like, just like the managing of like the community and the space, and like kind of having to keep the eye out for like those kind of things where like sometimes I'm like, there has been a time where I've literally walked up and disconnected the mic from someone. I'm like, oh no.
I was curious,
Yeah,
how do you
and,
handle
yeah.
people
Oh, yeah. I will.
who come in with non-poetic intentions?
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I'll give someone a moment. I'll let them cook. Like, I'm gonna let you cook.
And I
Like,
mean,
and
I've seen people get a little edgy and maybe even dark, or say things that were like, whoa, where are they going with this?
Yeah.
And you let it roll. But we're not there to hurt people.
It's the angle of, are you exploring something that happened to you, or are you wishing something on somebody else?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
and like
it's all about perspective.
Yeah, well, that's it. Is like, and like I'm always appreciative. Like, I love that people feel comfortable with. They'll come up to me sometimes, like when they've written a new piece, and they're like, "Hey, I want to read this tonight. Yeah, check this out." And I'm like, yeah, let me check it out. And there's been many a time that I'm like, don't read that. Like, I had something similar happen like this past week where someone, was like, "Hey, maybe don't read that," and like someone else got very upset. And it's all about just like communication and talking and.
It's understanding
like,
the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
It's understanding the people around you.
Yeah.
And how things are in the world at the current moment.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't want a poet going in there talking, crazy nonsense about the state of the wars in the world right now, and just starting that tension, trying to choose a side and making people choose a side and things like all that's not necessarily something that we're here for. We're here for self-exploration, what's the word I'm looking for? Expression.
Yeah.
It's so close to exploration, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I would say especially community.
Yeah.
Community is very big at the Dirty Gerund. If someone who comes to the show needs something, we will go out of our way to make sure they get it.
Yeah.
Like, we've run fundraisers, we've helped people find homes.
Wow.
It is a community.
Yeah.
And we treat it like a community, and we curate it like a community.
Yeah.
And speaking of fundraisers, not to get too far off the community thing, I just want to talk about some of the nuances, the very fun and special nuances that are at the Dirty Gerund. You do have the pass the bucket?
Yeah, we've got a bucket pass during the show. The band plays a special song. The bucket gets passed around. If I'm holding it, I will skank.
Yeah.
Which I wish you could see here, but the great thing is, no, we're gonna give him a cliffhanger. If you want to see it, you can show up tonight and see it live in person at Ralph's Rock Diner. I almost did rock.
You did it, baby.
Listen, I get anxiety every time I go to say it. Ralph's Rock Diner tonight, beginning at 8:30ish, and that's the great thing about this is there's an ish involved.
Yeah, we run on poetry time.
You're never too late.
I will say the list does tend to fill up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So if you want to make sure you get to read, you have to show up on time.
Yeah. The open mic list is out every Monday at 8:00. I'm a little vulture and I just hang around Ralph's and decompress a while before the show. So I'm usually there by like 6:30 the earliest. So
and it's such a chill atmosphere.
Yeah.
You sit there, chill, have a couple drinks, smoke a couple smokes, whatever you choose to smoke. I mean, as long as it's legal.
Yeah, and as long as it's not on the
there is a boundary. It's very clearly marked.
Yeah,
but the point is, you can go and chill and hang out before the show in a very comfortable, very home. I mean it with the best intentions.
It
feels like you're at home.
Yeah.
No, at all.
I will say Ralph's is cash only, and there is an ATM on site. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's really great. Like, and like earlier, to circle back to like what you were saying earlier, where the first time you walked in, you didn't feel like it was necessarily somewhere you felt like you would belong. That's something that I think is really embracing about, like, especially the punk culture that exists like at Ralph's, is like they are just like radically inclusive. Like everyone has a home.
Well, and that's the thing is that was my ignorance, my prejudgment, my predisposition. And my societal bred fears, if you will, of difference, right? Because of where I come from. I come from the hood, and there's a lot of people who look and dress more like I do, and so it's a familiarity thing. And when I go into another area that I'm not familiar with, I get nervous, I get scared. But the reason why I brought that up is to say the people at the Gerund And everyone, you know, because you were there with me from the very beginning, made me feel at home. They made me. It's almost like, please, this might be a little bit corny, but it's almost like going to Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, but like,
no, baby.
But like on shrooms.
No, honestly.
So everybody knows your name, and if they don't know your name, they want to get to know your name.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, it was very welcoming and humbling when I first started hanging out at the Gerund, because the first piece I ever publicly read there that people started to like remember me for is I have a piece that is a motivational piece that's a spin-off of the Smash Mouth classic hit All Star. And so people did not know my name when I first started hanging out there, but people would just see me and be like, "Yo, All Star, what's good?" And I'm like, "Yo, hey, what? Hi."
That's me.
And I was like, "No, it's Narc." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like,
I don't know. I like Narc a lot better than All Star.
No, same. But I appreciate that. You know, it's always funny, like when people like will read my name tag, they're like Narc.
I know. Can you explain that a little bit? Because when I hear Narc, I hear like snitch. Like you're gonna go Narc out.
Well, that's why I'm always just like when I introduce myself to people, I'm like, it's Narc with a K, not a C. I'm the kind you buy drugs from, not tells on drugs.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
So like that is a source. It also just like has many layers. Like I had a ex-boyfriend whose group of friends like had a weird language, and my government name is Nicole. And like they made a weird version of like narcole, and then it shortened to narc, and then narc also by definition it's English slang for annoying person, which I feel like is like very defining of me.
You love that? I don't like see you as annoying, but I guess I don't. Maybe I don't spend enough time around you.
Yeah. Oh my god, please. You would get sick of me. But no, honestly, I also just like don't think of it as a like. I don't think of it in a negative connotation when I say annoying. Like, I am just, like, persistent. I'm just always there.
Entertaining.
Like, yeah, whatever.
You are absolutely entertaining. I love being around you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
when
that.
I am.
Well, you're always welcome. But
everybody loves a jester.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's it. It's like, I mean, especially, like, growing up, like, socialization was always hard for me. Like, mentioning earlier, like, I'm autistic. Like, so, like, talking to people, like, I had to watch people how to socialize, but I was an only child, and so like learning how to do that without being like the weird kid and the annoying kid that no one wanted to be around was really hard.
Kids don't make it easy.
No,
it's
like
not easy.
especially like it's hard now, but fuck the early aughts, man. Like,
and kids in general are little assholes. Like, and I love my kids, I do. Yeah. But I got, you know what their nicknames are? Shithead, because they are. This is what kids do. And they're awful to each other. So imagine being an only child going into society where you have a lot of kids who have siblings and who are already used to picking on each other. You're not used to that. That automatically puts you in a, I feel like I'm the weird kid. When in reality, you're no different than the rest of them.
Exactly.
You know, you're still learning and growing and morphing into your own little person. And all kids are weird. You know?
Well, I've been very thankful. Math Dad, our saxophone player, they have become like my unofficial sibling because we were both only childs, and and so like anytime we're both just like, oh, we don't have siblings, I'm like, nah, that's my brother, man. Like,
that's what's up.
That's my dude. That's my guy.
And I love that you brought Math Dad up because I do want to talk about the band for a second. If I can bring it over here to this side. I've been to a lot of poetry jams and I've seen bands. It's not like it's a unique thing. But there's something unique about the Gerund's band. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping you can explain it to me. Maybe it's Matt Dad on the saxophone. I don't know. Listen, that saxophone, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is smooth as butter. Matt Dad's an incredibly talented performer. Everyone in the band is. Zach, Jesse, Zach, everybody. Individually, they're good on their own. But they are also good at improv, and they are good at jamming in a troupe. And those are like 3 or 4 individual skills. Finding 3 to 4 people who have those skills, just an incredible stroke.
Are you a musician?
I am not.
Are you any instruments?
No.
Okay. Have you ever like tried to play play a song on a piano or something?
I tried piano. I tried ukulele. I tried studying audio engineering. Music theory. What the heck? What's going on there?
It's wild. And now imagine taking that. I don't even know how to play simple keys and trying to match that melodically with someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not just one someone else, for someone else's.
Yeah.
Wait, because we're not done yet. You have a performer come up, excuse me, and say, yes, I want dark, happy, grassy field.
Yeah.
And they play something that's dark, happy, grassy field out of nowhere.
Yeah.
How is that done? Standing in a meadow.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, no.
It's magic.
Yeah, that's something that's been just impressive to me over time, and I'm always very appreciative, like, of the musicians who take the time out of their schedules to be with us on Mondays. Over the years, like, there's been so many different folks that have gone through. For when I first started coming around, what's Mark's last name? Why can't I think of it right now?
L something.
Either way, Leighton. There we go.
Yeah.
I was like, it was right there. But Mark Leighton was the house band leader when I first started coming around, and he was a great guitar player with a pedal board that could assault anyone. It had like an upwards of like 30 pedals on it. He would do crazy shit.
Huge.
It literally was tiered. And so like having folks like he was in it for a long time. We also have like folks that will occasionally come around now who've moved to like the West Coast. This artist that goes by the name of Rune. They were an organizer around Worcester for a really long time and played in the house band when I wasn't old enough to go to the Gerund.
Oh, wow.
And so it's really funny because they were an elder to me because I've always been around in like the local music scene. I don't music, but I love music. And
when Rune was running the band or the music side of the show, they would book also a band to play.
Yeah.
So there'd be a featured poet and a featured band.
Yeah.
The show would not end until 1:30.
Yeah.
And they were also leading an anarchist brass band called Speaker for the Dead. At one point, they were playing the washboard, standing on a statue, and then like breathed fire.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The ruckus is never ending.
That sounds so much fun, though.
Yeah.
There was a sousaphone player. No, what's the big the tactical attack brass that you wrap around your body? Tuba.
A tuba, yeah.
There was a tuba player. The tuba player also played the melodica.
Yeah, that's insane.
I don't know what a melodica is.
You ever watch Bob's Burgers?
I have.
It's an instrument,
but not enough to know what a melodica is.
It's an instrument that Gene plays. So anytime if you've ever seen him play a song in that show,
if a kazoo went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
That's a melodica.
If a kazoo went to Berkeley.
I won't say it's a good instrument.
Yeah, it's an interesting instrument.
But it's an instrument nonetheless.
Yeah.
It is one of the instruments of all time.
Yeah.
Undeniably.
But we've just like been so lucky. For a few years, we had Akiba Davis of Moshi and Zygmunt notoriety as our drummer, alongside Jacob Levi, their guitarist. And then Alex Monaco did a stint as our also of Moshi. It was nice. Like we're really lucky to have a lot of these local musicians come through and play with us. But it's also really important, like Malt was saying, to highlight the like importance of like how much these folks really understand music and that improvisation. Because I do have like a lot of folks that are like, oh, I'd love to play in the house band, and like I'm like, yo, dude, you did a really good cover of that Third Eye Blind song, but like if someone goes up there and tells you they want the ocean, can you play the ocean?
Right. And that's what they do. It blows my mind.
Like I always just like amend them. Like we can have a show without them, but that it wouldn't be the same show.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of traveling poets, like you do see, like Bruja has her house band at the Post Cauldron led by Mellow Green. God bless that dude's vocals. It makes me want to weep.
Another incredible performer. Mr. is so lucky.
Yeah. But a lot of folks that travel around, especially that come from like the rigid like slam style of poetry, when they come to our show and they're like, you have a fucking house band? Like they're like, there's music? And it's just like, yeah, there's music. Like, and it's something that has always been like signature to the Gerund. And I'm always looking to see how it's going to grow. We actually had someone who plays tuba recently reach out, but There's just we can
That
only
would be so dope.
yeah. So we can only
You can only fit so many
well
people there.
well
too.
we're inside, yes. And that's the thing is like the old saying goes is that winter is for family, summer is for friends at the
Oh, I love
Gerund.
that.
Where you
I
know
love that,
yeah
actually,
because
yeah.
like it's hard, like it's hard to come out during the winter. It's fucking cold. You don't want to
Yeah.
leave your house, like, and people want to stay at home, and it's a fucking Monday night, dude.
Right.
Like I get it. It's snowing. I don't want to leave my house, but
Right.
I am because I want to do the thing.
Right.
And but so during the winters we do still have like a really great like attendance to the show, but the summer shows are really where it blossoms because we are outside.
I think, and that's part of it, is everyone loves just to be outside.
Yeah.
And to come together for one common purpose, which is
and
community and poetry, right?
And like Massachusetts is starving for places where you can smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol while listening to music at the same time.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about Ralph's is it's literally in the cut with so much space between its neighbors.
Yeah.
That
we
there's really no complaints.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ralph's in the same breath is very respectful of the space.
Ample off-street parking.
Yes.
Asterisk. If you survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The parking lot is a straightaway. So City of Worcester, if you would love to work on that,
Sponsor a parking lot, right?
Well, sponsor fixing your straightaway road.
I will say one nice thing about city government.
Just one.
And it will be
The
genuinely
show isn't
nice.
about that. But go ahead.
Yeah.
If they fix the street.
If
they
fix the street. That is.
Then they can get more praises.
But yeah.
But I'm so sorry. The way the city fixes potholes around here too.
Yeah.
Are we really?
Yeah.
You know that.
It's literally a 25-year-old pothole.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, if you do want to go to the off-street parking, get there early, because the earlier you get there, the less likely you're going to encounter a pothole. If you get there late, make sure you don't bring your lowrider.
Yeah.
And Jeeps are encouraged.
If you arrive on two wheels, you'll probably go flying.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like straight up Mario Kart style.
Well, I mean, like, motorcycles are welcome. It is a biker bar. But
You just got to know how to navigate.
Yeah.
The moon, essentially.
But yeah.
The surface of the moon. But I wanted to go back to the band and community for a minute, because I didn't want to forget about you were about to talk a little bit about community. And that is that this is a passion project for everybody. It's not that everyone's getting paid every Monday night to show up. They're showing up because they love it, they want to, and if there's pay, it's the cherry on top, isn't it? Isn't that right? So, and the reason why I bring that up is because no one is incentivized by money to go. This is strictly a community effort for the passion of poetry.
Well, like when you show up, when the band starts playing, the performers start performing, like it feeds something.
Yeah.
Like you know for the first time that the rest of your life is lacking.
Yeah.
And this is what it is lacking.
It's soul food. That's soul food.
And like the promise that it's going to be here next week and the week after that.
Yeah.
It's something to look forward to.
Right.
Like
and consistency, it's just that something that you can be familiar with and get comfortable with and know it's always going to be there. Is there any times the Gerund closes ever?
As long
what
as I figure it out. Or I mask up and it's fine. No, luckily that the only other time that I haven't been able to be there was as I was speaking of earlier when I got myself locked up in the loony bin. Sweet Gigi, I did have a wonderful community member who stepped up. And then you helped out that night too, I think, maybe. Yeah. And what's your jig? And there's always, again, with the sanctimonious of community, if something ever happened to me, I know that there would be someone that would be there to do it. But as long as the Ralph's is open, we're there. The only times we haven't done the Gerund have been like inclement weather. Like to the point where I'm like, it's dangerous for you to try to get here and go home just because the programming does run late. And like we have done that sometimes, like during the winter, like closed programming early, like where it's just like, hey, we're gonna do one half tonight, like, and just do that, and then if there is a feature, give them their feature, and then we all go home. But yeah, no. As long as Ralph's is open, I'm there. But yeah.
So I did want to ask, because we're actually, this isn't the first time we've met. Obviously, I've said that I've showed up at the Dirty Gerund a couple times before. And we are working on a very special project together. So I'm so excited about that. I wonder if we could talk a little bit about that. Starting with, why is it so important that we are beginning? First of all, what is this project and why is it so important that we're beginning it now?
So, last summer we ran a Kickstarter to raise funds for a feature-length documentary. We smashed the goal. We recorded in August, and then hopefully this summer it'll be ready to release. We've got the PA system. We've got a projector. We are going to show this. Like, if they don't let us in the theaters, we're going to show it outside on the theater.
Yeah.
Like, we're going guerrilla. We're going to get this in festivals.
Go straight to the theater, project it on their wall.
Yeah.
Everyone's seeing this.
Like, there's such a need for a third space in society. I think the Dirty Gerund can be a model, can inspire other people to create similar spaces with similar vibes, and that, like, we can help change the world.
Yeah.
Because the situation is not going to improve on its own. Like, we need more communities. Like, we need people in places where they can share and overcome the terrible things in their lives, so they move beyond it. So they go from a place of suffering towards active engagement in the saving of the world.
Right. And that's as I'm glad you brought that up. It's an important aspect of why I was so compelled to get involved in the project, is because I am such a huge advocate for mental health. And I feel like one of the best tools for healing when it comes to mental health is creativity.
Oh, completely.
And outward expression, because when you're holding all this stuff inside, all it does is fester and stew and marinate and turn into a bigger, uglier monster. Than when you release it creatively, it's like you then regain the power over whatever your circumstances, whatever your traumas were, and you're able to be the puppet master instead of it manipulating you. Yeah. And I really wanted to be able to share that story. And what I found was, it's not just a story; it's a conglomerate of many stories, and a meeting, or almost like a bridge of understanding. Don't you agree with that? When you see, like, there's a sense of relatability, even though everyone's unique, they're uniquely different.
When you have an exceptionality in your life, when you have something that other people haven't experienced, there's that sense of alienation. And when that resonates in somebody else, that forms a connection.
Yeah.
Like, that is deep instantly. Because you know what they've been through, because you've been through it too.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that brings me back to my first day when I was like, oh yeah, just looking around, I don't belong here. But then when you just sit down and shut the fuck up for a second and listen, you realize, holy shit, I do belong here. These are my people. They know what I'm going through. I've gone through the same things they've gone through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like when I found the Gerund, I had just lost one of my best friends had overdosed and had passed away.
Yeah.
And I was in a really weird place, and I walked into the Gerund and found community and was like, oh, these people fucking get it, and then like kept going, and then haven't left. And so
it's like your weekly therapy session.
Oh yeah, no, it's very similar. No, honestly, as someone who, like, again, big mental health advocate, big advocate for therapy and getting access to the stuff that you can when you can get access to it. But it is like a weekly group therapy. It's very similar. Like, I actively attend NA and AA, and like those meetings hit a little different because they're very focused, but in the same breath, like at the Gerund, like those topics do get covered. Like, people do go up and talk about living through addiction, surviving through addiction, or living through having to watch other people go through it, or their own mental health stuff. Yeah. Like, I've had plenty of people come up to me. Like, I make a point to do a lot of cover poems to introduce work to other people. And I've had a lot of people come up to me after, the show, or after I've read something, and they're just like, whoa, other people feel that too. And I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, and so I think it's important. Like, it really cultivates that. And with making this movie, preserving that and showing that exists and that it can
Right.
exist. Like, you just have to have the will and the want, but like you can't will or want for something without knowing that it exists and
Exactly.
recording it and getting that out into the world so people can see like these spaces are real. Bohemia didn't die, like you know what I mean. Like, I was a little kid who was obsessed with Rent, and now I get to live it. So like I'm for it, bitch. Like,
Let's go. We outside over here.
yeah, no, dude.
I'm having to resist singing the song.
Well,
we'll talk, baby.
We are almost out of time, and there is John brought. He said he's having a hard time resisting singing the songs. But there is a performance I do want to see, and that is this amazing thing here in front of me. I'm gonna let you tell everybody what it is, and then take it away.
This is butcher's paper. Normal, unlined, untreated butcher's paper. And I was having, not writer's block, but I noticed that all the poems I was writing on my laptop were the same poem. So I decided to switch radically to a different medium to see if that would shake things up. And let's
Well
say it
done.
as commit a crime to yourself, to quitting. Commit to the relationship between space and living. Commit to the bit, to a lease, to a dare.
Is it too crinkly, John? Okay, good.
All right. I will say, it's a huge pain in the neck. I don't recommend this style to anyone else. But,
But you committed.
Yeah, I did. And for a fucking penny and for a fucking pound. Commit to the relationship between space and living. Commit to the bit, to a lease, to a dare, to the body that holds your only life. Commit to the trip. Commit mistakes. Be perfect when you're dead. Commit to poems that are more than long thoughts. Commit to your words so tightly you bind their scroll to an axe. What coward cannot even commit their word to paper, their imperfect word, their awful handwriting? Can anything that exists ever be less beautiful than the idea of it? All of history can be read off the foil in a stranger's pack of cigarettes, and here you are, trying to impress your friends. Commit to friends, commit to community. You are a building of all of your best memories, so commit to being its keeper. Commit to the path when all you have is a candle. Survival is only a bargain with tomorrow, so to commit to seeing it through. Commit to the idea of dying tomorrow. Commit to the fear of that lump in your colon. Commit to the silence that comes when you realize no one is curating your best work for you. No one is interviewing your teachers for a Smithsonian retrospective because your, can I say that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bitch ass did not commit to the work before losing yourself to daydreams of superstardom. What Brian Eno would consider a cry exceeding the limitations of its medium. There will not be a historian to read what you etched into the cigarette foil clutched in your sleeping fist. You had one chance to be alive and you blew it. Everyone respects your dedication to having problems. Your commitment to your own unhappiness had to die fantastic because you couldn't commit to being alive and unremarkable. Had to be the loudest motherfucker in the grocery store, but all at one you were angry stares, and in no language have you ever learned the words of repentance for the faux pas you commit. Every drug addict with a messiah complex wants to eat God, but who among you impotent bitches has the forethought to commit their sins in writing? Not 1 in 100 million cares enough to write a scroll about it, and that is why your apostles have no swag. Why should I respect your hate when all you can commit to is yesterday's outfit? You are the human equivalent to a passenger footwell. God left the rest of you tied up in a plastic Cumberland Farms bag. So commit yourself to the dumpster, knowing that after you die, not even your student loans will miss you. Could have been a person were you not so committed to your own desires. A bear trying to hibernate in the embers of a forest. Does the grease know it lubricates the wheel of fate? Does your hand commit to grasping everything it breaks? Does your blood commit to scabbing? Does your body commit to the shame of its own moisture, flayed open and heaving, alien to your own desire? Can you commit to love beyond the distance of orgasm? Can you occupy the space you inherited without recommitting the crimes that won them? Kerouac couldn't commit to the lie. His road was paved with 5 years and how many revisions, and the end result is what? Ego and salt. I am the Neil Cassidy of tire fires, the wavy gravy of microplastics. Your grandparents took acid and did not levitate the Pentagon, but at least they went outside. What has your scared of phone calls ass done today? Fed itself to the demiurge, committed to another shift at the gas station. The revolution begins when you light that match. Give the police a reason for all their guns. Commit to what you believe to death. Commit, believe, and die. A martyr awaiting celebration is still a felon. What parts of you shall we commit to reliquaries? Dearly beloved, if Saul Williams saw the ciphers his code inspired, could he commit the act that kills me? Can you commit to caring? Commit to caring for a stranger, for yourself, about me? Can you commit to caring enough about any of this to write it down a second time? Because I couldn't.
I love it.
Thank you.
I didn't know if it was appropriate to laugh at certain points because, I mean,
Oh yeah, right.
the humor, I'm getting your dark humor there. It's coming through, shining through.
Nice.
One of my favorite lines was "Be perfect when you're dead," because none of us are perfect. None of us are going to be perfect, and the more we strive for perfection, the less we're living. Is that the point of the whole thing?
I think that is.
Oh man, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was a great poem, and this is just a taste, just a sample of what you can get every Monday night at the Dirty
The Dirty Gerund at Rock's Ralph Diner.
Diner, you got it. And on a scroll sometimes. It could be on a napkin. It could be on a gum wrapper.
Yeah,
It depends.
You know, we do our bonus ruckuses. One of my favorites is a prompt and circumstance,
Okay.
in which I give out objects to folks, and then they have to write on that object about that object.
We should have played that game. I think we're out of time, but
no, it's
next
okay.
time.
Next time we'll play. I'll
You'll
bring
come
you
back?
stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll play the bonus ruckus here. But if you want to play the bonus ruckus, maybe tonight.
Yeah. I haven't picked what it is yet, but
But you got to get down there. And tonight, and if you're not watching this on April 29th, just remember it's every Monday night. So
make your Monday feel like a Friday.
And it really does. It's so much energy, so much excitement, love, laughter. There's even a couple tears every now and then. Get a little emotional, maybe, depending on who's reading what.
Yeah, bitch, I be crying.
But it's an amazing thing. And I would go more often if it was earlier, but I like to go to bed at like 9 o'clock, to be honest with you. However, now that it's nice out and the summer's here and I'm able to be outside more, I do want to make more of an effort personally for my own soul, because it is for me, and I think it should be for you individually as well, to get down there and just experience it and live it and commit.
We want you
We want you
to be weird.
Yeah.
That's right.
Facts.
So before we go, I just have one last question for each of you, that I think is something that I really would like to understand where your thought is now to see where the Dirty Gerund's going. What does the Dirty Gerund's legacy mean to you?
Expressive freedom. Like community and acceptance.
Thank you.
Yeah, about the same, honestly. It's just, preserving the fact that spaces like this can exist and spaces like this do exist, and that there is always a home for everyone. Like we were talking about earlier, that's what I needed when I found the Gerund, and I will continue to hold that, where doesn't matter what you're going through or who you are or what's that you always have Mondays, because I've there's still folks that I run into that haven't been back in years, and they're like, I miss the Gerund. I'm like, it's always there. And every once in a while they show back up, and I'm like, okay, bitch, what's up? Thank you, missed you, love you, read some poems, So yeah, just preserving that these artistic spaces exist where you can yell and scream and weird stuff on a roll, or have your weird punk rock dreams and scream into a microphone.
We are going to be finishing up that documentary real soon, and we'll be letting you know from Manny J Media. You'll hear all about us. Trust me, we're not quiet about anything. We'll let you know when the documentary is ready to be screened. Hopefully, we'll be shooting it on that nice big wall right outside of Ralph's, right?
Yeah.
But even better than that, we might be able to bring it to a local theater near you. So, put it in the comments that you want us to bring this out your way. We'd love to share it with everybody. And it's a great insight. If there's anybody out there who might have some agoraphobic issues, you can watch this first and then decide to go down there. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, please stay tuned and just keep an eye out for what we got coming your way. And until then, make sure that you go check out The Dirty Gerund at Ralph's Rock Diner every Monday night. And where can people find you on social media?
We're on Instagram at Dirty Gerund, and then we are on Facebook, The Dirty Gerund Poetry Show, and our website is dgpoetry.com. And we're on Eventbrite too. If you just Google Dirty Gerund, it'll come up.
And it's DIRTYGERUND. We'll tag it in the link right above my head here. And with that being said, that's all the time we got for today. So until next time, this has been Interviews with The Dirty Gerund. It's your boy Manny.
Malt Schlitzman.
And
Narc Lizard.
This is Manny J Media Community. I'm sorry, like what?
I said like and subscribe.
I thought you said like the animal, you said, because you said Narc Lizard, like and subscribe. Yes, she's doing my job for me. Speaking of liking and subscribing, before we go, one more thing.
Uh-oh.
We have t-shirts, guys.
Oh, shit.
We have t-shirts. What do you think?
They're cute. I love your little Mannyisms.
That is dope.
So we have t-shirts, and they're only $20, and they go a long way. Not only do you get a nice, adorable fashion statement to wear around town, you're helping Manny J Media continue to do what we do best, and that is just show up in the community and make sure that we highlight amazing people, places, organizations that are in the community, making our community so great. So you can hit us up at mjmllc.com to order your shirt today, or you can get it in my inbox. I answer DMs for money, so.
Cash app requests.
Good. With that being said, this is Manny J Media Community Delivered. We'll see you real soon. Peace.